This is your Neepawa Town Council Debrief for the January the 17th, 2023 meeting. The debrief will take you through the key issues being discussed by Council and provide a bit more information on what they mean for the town. Because of the length of this week's Council meeting, the debrief will again be aired in two parts. This is part one. The first half of this week's Council meeting was almost entirely taken up by presentations by three applicants to the town's annual granting program. While it's certainly not a requirement, the town welcomes requests from applicants to present on their organization and the grant request to Council directly. The three presenters at this meeting were the Margaret Lawrence Home, a local museum, Arts Forward, the arts and cultural hub for the community, and a joint application from the Neepawa Titans Hockey Club and NACTV for a broadcasting project at the Yellowhead Arena. The town receives applications for its community grants program every winter with a deadline of December 31st of each year. Funding categories include direct award grants, strategic plan grants, in-kind contribution grants, special event grants, and community event grants. Now, most applicants are seeking a direct award grant, and all successful applications must present a report to Council on their use of the grant, normally within the next calendar year.
You're here for Margaret Lawrence Home?
I am. Yeah, so, Mr. Mayor, councilors, got my prepared notes here. Thank you for the opportunity to make this short presentation on behalf of the Margaret Lawrence Home Committee. We appreciate the support we regularly receive and have received over the lifetime of the home from the town. So I have two goals that I'll try to address briefly tonight. One is to persuade you of the continued value that the home gives to the community, and the other is to make two requests regarding the funding we've applied for. Under the first heading, we're a pretty small committee. I think we punch above our weight, I hope so. Over the past year, we've held a number of community events, Canada Reads, a book sale, a craft sale, a garden art walk during the summer, that have provided modest fundraising for our operations, but also the main goal is to provide value to members of the Neepawa area community. Of course, the home is still open as a tourist draw, and while our tourism numbers have definitely dropped since the house opened in 1986, we still welcome hundreds of Manitoba, Canadian, and international guests, many of whom come expressly to visit the hometown of Margaret Lawrence, a writer still recognized internationally as one of Canada's finest. These visitors spend money locally when they come. Tourism advertising around the province and across the country, and media coverage of Neepawa regularly reference Margaret Lawrence, the home, and the cemetery Stone Angel. This past late summer, it was August, the home was visited by a German lady that was traveling, walking across Canada. And we understand that she has written about her walk. It's been published in the Globe and Mail, and Neepawa was one of the places she highlighted. The tourism slogan for the town, where stories take a beautiful turn, owes half of its aptness to the beauty of our town and its natural setting, and the other half to some of the stories that were written here, and that's Margaret Lawrence. Both these attributes can be enhanced when supporting the town council. Second task this evening is about our grant. Over the past 7 years or so, financial support from the town has decreased. Last year, our grant consisted of forgiveness of a portion of our property taxes and $1,000, which we greatly appreciate. While over the past, probably about that time, 7 years, we've been in a pretty financially secure position. Recent large expenses, like the new roof that the house is sporting, the ongoing costs of maintaining the home, like plumbing and heating, and staffing costs have worn away at our savings. We have done fundraising, we've applied for grants and been successful in some of those applications, and we've invested in the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation to access matching funds and ensure steady income for the foreseeable future. I'm here tonight to ask you to increase the grant portion of your support to match or come close to our request, which I believe again this year is for $2,500. Also ask that we not be restricted in our use of these funds, but be able to apply them to our ongoing priorities, maintenance and staffing. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them to the best of my ability or find the answers and communicate those to you at a later date.
Okay, any questions? since 1986, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, 86, 87.
Yeah, that's significant.
Was it open year round?
No, during the summer, May 1st to September 1st. We found actually this year that one of our busiest times was after that September long weekend started, sorry, not September 1st. That was a fairly busy time, and what we put on the answering machine was, and I think on our website, maybe not at that point, but that if someone was coming through and really serious about coming to visit the home, then a board member would try to meet them there. And we had
Several tours, yeah.
like quite a few. I did a couple, other board members did some as well. But summer is busy time. During the winter off-season, we do have those fundraising events, and those are run by volunteers and board members.
Is there any partnerships that you guys have got to do fundraising and stuff to work with other groups in town?
Thank you. We did, I won't say partner, we helped out at the antique sale, working the door. And we are going to be making desserts and helping to serve at the Legion dinner in March. And we'll be open to other opportunities.
Well, thank you for having me come and speak again this year. Once a year, I like to come and inform the council on what's happening at Arts Forward and what we're doing and how we're spending our money and how we're spending your money. So thank you for that opportunity. If you haven't seen us lately, things have changed. Have you seen us lately? We've been revitalized, new staff, new board members, and new board members have widened our audience reach. We've got some younger, more vibrant board members. Not that us old guys aren't that vibrant, but lots more new ideas with an increased number of board members. And now the COVID restrictions have lifted. Again, that has really led to things happening at Arts Forward. We've had exponential growth in membership. But Arts Forward has become the place to be in Neepawa. When we've got events going on, it's they are well attended. Arts Forward is emerging from COVID stronger than it was before. It is the community, and it has been in the past, the community and regional hub for arts and culture for all ages, abilities, and financial backgrounds. And I want to put a stress on financial backgrounds. We really strive to keep this affordable. And we facilitate exploring, learning, and healing. That's the healing part is very important as well, through many different classes and events. And one thing we focus on is building partnerships between businesses in the community, nonprofit organizations, as well as the surrounding RMs and regions like Westman and the other regions around us for arts. We have become a very well-respected arts venue in Manitoba. There was so much happening. I went to Facebook, Arts Forward Facebook, and I just grabbed some things that have either recently finished or just about to start. And I just grabbed a small sample. There is so much happening at Arts Forward. Every day there's things going on. Every day there's things going on. If you're wondering what's going on at Arts Forward, check our Facebook page. It is a wealth of information. There's just stuff happening constantly. We have, I'm going to talk about 6 different focuses here. One of the focuses on affordability. We try to keep things affordable through partnerships, sponsors, grants, donations, and the patrons program. In this picture here, you see some partnerships going on. We've got the town of Neepawa dumping dirt that the men's shed into the containers that men's shed has built, and we've got Arts Forward working on that as well. So that's an example of one of the partnerships that we have built. But here's a bunch of other partnerships. We're not going to read them all. I'll tell you what they all were, but I mean, this is the groups that we partner with and the organizations we partner with in our community, in and around our community. One example of a partnership, well, Town Neepawa. You've got free facility rentals. Free. It costs you money. I mean, thank you very much for the grant that we received, but with that grant, you also get the facility rental 10 times. But we also partner in other ways. For example, there's a days off school program that we work with the Town Neepawa Recreation Department as well. Also, the Indigenous Culture Days was a partnership. Winter Wonderland, Monster Mash, and other activities that are in the works right now. So definitely the town of Neepawa is one of our valued partners. Second focuses on mental health and wellness. We know that COVID has taken its toll on mental health, and we strive to be a place where people can go out and socialize in a fun atmosphere. So that in all sorts of things that we've got either going on right now or just had or coming up, things like Mom's Morning Out, where moms with kids can drop their kids off. They've got people to mind their kids, and they get a morning out to do their own thing. They're at Arts Forward doing some sort of planned activity. Men's Shed, it's the home of Men's Shed. It's one of the partnerships that we have, organizations in our community. We have ladies' game nights planned, paint nights, trivia nights, and any of our workout programs are all designed to focus on mental health and wellness. Mental well-being through art. Art in a social setting. And none of these people that you see in the bottom right corner are going to sit at home and paint at home. They will come, 25 people will get together and paint and have a great time. And just, after COVID, just getting together and doing something like that, it's healing. It's a healing kind of atmosphere. Another focus is focused on youth. We've got our Days Off School program, where when there is no school, and moms are wondering, and parents are wondering, what do we do with our kids? We both have to work, what do we do with our kids? Well, there's a Days Off School program. So if there is no school that day, you're wondering what to do with the kids, well, you can enroll them in our Days Off School program. It's a partnership that we have with the town of Neepawa Recreation Department, as well as the Yellowhead Center. It's also something called Field to Table Club, where kids grow food and they go in the kitchen and they learn how to use that food to make other food. Another youth program is Monster Mash, that can happen at Halloween. We've also got HMK, Neepawa Middle School, and NNCI art exhibits. We've had 2 of those art exhibits already. The NNCI exhibits coming up. And at the same time that we've got those art exhibits, we have piano students who are providing the background music for those exhibits. Some other programs, Kids in the Kitchen, Teens in the Kitchen, multiple different kinds of dance lessons, music lessons, and after-school art programs. So we do a lot of work with youth. Just a couple of photos from things that are happening. That HMK art exhibit was quite impressive. The place was very, very colorful. Field to Table Club, just a couple of pictures from that, kids involved. And that was a really great program for a number of reasons. One was it taught a lot of kids, and therefore the kids taught their parents how to grow food and then what to do with that food. So it was an extremely beneficial program. There's 20 people last summer in the program, which was as many as we could take, and there's a waiting list for the summer, so it's an extremely popular program. Another focus is on the community. There's a farmer's market operating out of Arts Forward in the summer months. Also Indigenous Culture Day, it was a community event. Raft, I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it was a live art experience, which means you can watch the artists and how they create their art. So you can watch them painting or sculpting or whatever it is they did. The other thing is we're an inclusive organization. We do hold art classes there for Touchwood students. We also have available to us an American Sign Language translator and special needs assistant when needed. Talk a little bit about RAFT, and if you weren't ever sure what RAFT stood for, it stood for Riverbend Market, Arts Forward, where we had a farmer's market and a live art show on farming and tourism in Neepawa. Next year, we're also partnering with Co-op, and we're so happy because RAFT gets to be craft, and that's what the arts is about. It's about crafts. So we can change, and we hope that none of those things ever drop out, because we'll have to think of a new acronym. But craft. What?
We're proud of that moment.
Crafty. There you go. Why? Yes. So keep brainstorming for ideas for what we can call this. I just want to show you and I don't know if I have the time. The hardest thing about this whole thing was trying to figure out I've got so many things I'd love to show you, but figuring out how much time we have. So if you're wondering what RAP was about, well, at Arts Forward, we had artists displaying their art and doing their art, so you could see how art was made. And, you know, for a lot of people, it took the mystery out of how do you do that? How do you use a brush to do that? Well, the secret is they don't use a brush, they use something else. Take a look at that tool she's using right there. That is not a brush. And so it was incredible art experience for people to be able to see the art and also see how art was made. We had things going on inside, we had things going on outside. They're outside, they were painting our piano. You might have seen that as you drove by. Our beautifully painted piano, which was in perfect tune, and you could play it for about 2 weeks. And then we had a great big rainstorm, and it was no longer playable. And certainly after the winter, it's not going to be playable. But it's a great, heavy piece of art right now. So this is, a little bit of what was going on inside, a little bit of what was going on outside. There's a piano being painted. It was quite a cool day for us. All right, let's get on to some. I better stop that, or it's going to go forever. Hang on a second. There we go. Indigenous Culture Day. We had about 1,100 people in attendance last year. That included many different school groups, plus community members. And we're planning for larger next year. We're planning on inviting more schools, and we're hoping to have somewhere around the 2,000 mark next year for Indigenous Culture Day. Another focus is on efficiency. The Neepawa Community Arts Calendar was initiated by Arts Forward. We wanted to improve communication between organizations because we were planning so many events, and we found that we were conflicting with other events in our community. So we wanted to find, okay, we're planning all this stuff. When is everything else? So we can work around that. So it was kind of an initiative initiated by Arts Forward to work with Neepawa Tourism to bring it to fruition. And basically, there's a couple of places you can, if you're not sure where to find it, point your phone camera at that code there, and it'll take you to the right place. And is it being used? Yeah, this is December's example, December 22. This is the events that were on there. Library events are on there, Arts Forward events are on there, Al-Anon meetings. There's all sorts of events on here. Not everything that we would still like to see. We would like to see more groups using this, but there's still a lot of stuff on there. If you go on and take a look at January, there's a ton of stuff happening in January as well. Finally, our focus is on fiscal responsibility. Last fiscal year, which goes from September to September for us, our income was $135,000, roughly. Expenses $127,000. We had a profit of about almost $9,000. And because of that, our mortgage is now paid off. But paid off in this fiscal year, not last fiscal year. So paid off around end of December, beginning of January, somewhere around there. So yes, we're pretty happy about that. This year, in creating our budget, we're looking at a balanced budget. Our budget is almost $170,000 for income and expenses. Income is up and expenses are up for a couple of reasons. Biggest reason is capital projects. So, income. The arts relies on grants. It's a fact. Like the Mountain Theater Center, Winnipeg Ballet. I mean, everybody relies on grants. We had $67,000 roughly in grants last year. So you can see at the town of Neepawa, we're grateful for the grant. It's not the only grant that we apply for. We apply for lots of grants. We have applied or are planning on applying for almost $94,000 worth of grants this year. Why? Well, because of our capital projects, our special events. I mean, that's the main reason. We have a facility we have to maintain. What's really important is our roof repair, because if your roof is rotten, the rest of your building is rotten as well. So we need to repair our roof. But also we need to do a kitchen renovation, furnace replacement. Right now we've got a band-aided together, it's working. And also we had flooding, and we've got some renovation to do because of that as well. The other special event is the Indigenous Culture Day, and we can go bigger with this, bigger than we have in the past, but it costs money to run an event like that, like running a Lily Festival or whatever. It does cost money. And you don't charge admission to get that money back, so it is something. So, our big ask this year, and you've probably seen this already, because we've sent this in, is $22,000 to assist with our capital projects and special event. And remember that our capital projects are those 8 areas right there. Really, that's what we're looking for, assistance with this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of council, staff, and visitors. I'm Ken Waddell, and tonight I'm representing Neepawa Town Hockey Club and the NACTV. Probably most of you know that I have a small management contract with NACTV, and for the 5-6 years we've been involved, we've brought NACTV up to a staff of 4 plus a summer student. Probably that paid off the line of credit, $25,000, and as of today, I shouldn't tell you this because you're looking for money, $40,000 in the bank. We also have a term deposit of $40,000 to pay off our third loan when it comes due next December. So that will take $60,000 off our debt side. And, but there's still a lot of year left to use them, and we do have, because the money comes in chunks. We are fortunate to be able to get money through NACTV for the local journal initiative program from the federal government, also Canadian Broadcast Rights Association royalties, which amounts to over $40,000 a year now, and we were able to double that up because the change from 12 hours a day programming to 24 hours a day programming, which virtually doubled our royalties. So tonight, speaking on behalf of Lorraine, because she's quite a bit, as you all know, she's quite a bit smarter than I am. And we are looking, we've done some things through the Neepawa Titans in the last year, which maybe you may know of, but I think will be of interest. We expanded and upgraded the Neepawa Titans dressing room at the expense of the team with donations of labor and material and some purchases. And so that's an improvement to the Yellowhead and no cost to the Yellowhead. And it's an improvement to the Yellowhead in as much as other teams do use the dressing room, such as Tournament Champions. It was there, this cleaned everything out, and they were able to use that. And we'll be out of the dressing room for 2 weeks when the Viterra curling is on. We've also built the VIP lounge, or Emperor's Lounge as they call it, and that was done with donated labor, some purchased labor, some purchased material, but totally at the cost of the Neepawa Titans, which is definitely an improvement to the Yellowhead at no cost to the Yellowhead. It's being used for birthday parties, for game day parties, and it will be used as a media lounge for the Viterra curling, which they're very, very happy to have a special spot for that. So tonight what we're approaching you for is assistance with an approximately $12,000 project. It's not as bad as it sounds. We are mandated by the MJHL with their contract with Hockey TV to have our camera at center ice, which we moved from the booth to center ice about 3 years ago. And it's pretty darn cold out there for the camera operator, I should say. But it's a mandate we have to have. The broadcast, the video broadcast has to come from center ice, which makes sense. The old booth, which was built by NACTV, is in the Yellowhead. It was built at totally the cost of NACTV, and I'm not sure how much was material or donated or labor or whatever, but it's been there for a long time. And it's served its purpose. It's still a good structure. Then with the proposal, this proposal, once we get this built, then it will revert to the Yellowhead to be used for perhaps a manager's office or even a small reception room. It's not very big, but it's certainly the best view in the whole arena that's behind glass and warm. So we are looking at putting a center ice on the south side, high up on the bleachers, a media booth. We are mandated again by the league to have a better media booth. We have not fulfilled that obligation. We're mandated to have a place where the out-of-town radio stations, or television for that matter, can broadcast from, which we don't have. And so we've taken a little bit of ribbing over the years from the sportscasters, because they chat up a bit about how their broadcast booth is a seat on the bleachers beside the power outlet where they could plug in their cell phone. So this will give a radio broadcast opportunity for out-of-town visitors. The new booth will also provide a better opportunity for broadcasting other events as well. But that's somewhat contingent on the availability of volunteers and salary for staff to do more events, but there certainly is a lot more we could be broadcasting from the outlet that goes live and on the tape version. What we're looking at is a broadcast booth. The engineering plans of the $12,000, $1,000 worth has been donated by Pam Summer, and so we have engineered plans for the booth, and the plans have been approved by Jeff Braun as well. We have the lumber and construction supplies of $2,500 have been promised by Home Hardware as a donation to the Yellowhead and to NCTV and to the Titans, whatever. We do need those, and we're really estimating this because we haven't been able to find even a supplier level price yet. I know it's out there, but we need plexiglass. It has to be close for plexiglass for viewing and for safety, obviously. Mechanical and some technical wiring of $2,000. Some networking cables and supplies to hook us back into our modem and
All the broadcast equipment.
and broadcast equipment. Thank you. The $2,500 worth of construction labor, which we think we'll be able to get some of that donated, and then equipment installation of about $500. So we've got about $3,500 committed now in donation against the $12,000. So that leaves us an $8,500 request. But it's certainly our hope to do a little more in donations, and that would be compensatory. So that's kind of where it's at, and so you've done the work, and you've worked with that searching group.
Yeah. That's an outline of the project right there. One thing I wanted to stress is if you've ever looked at the schedule for the ice at the Yellowhead, it's in constant use. So there's a lot we could be doing there, but it's also in constant use in the summertime. We had that fundraiser for the Ukraine there, which we were literally sitting on the bleachers to film. There was a book sale that was in there. There's other events that happen in that space. So I just want to stress, we're not just talking about hockey, even though Titans are involved. There's a lot more that kind of goes on there. I was sort of here to answer any questions about the general operations of NACTV as well. So I think you have some idea of what's going on there. I've fitted most of you into my chair already, and some of you are yet to come. But yeah, and I'm sort of here to address any questions about that.
Just as a side note to that, well, it's not a side note, the NACTV is available to between 550 and 600,000 homes across Manitoba, across Canada. And we're online, of course, so that's available worldwide. And we have our own YouTube channel, and some of our programs are archived, so you can watch them on demand. The council meeting is played regularly 3 times each council meeting?
Yeah, at least.
3 times. And so I think we've taken things to, I would say, a higher level, but a different level from what it was 5 or 6 years ago. NACTV's been going for over 40 years now, and some great work was done by the early people involved. We all know who they are, know who they were. We've paid tribute to them in an appropriate fashion over the years. We're moving on to another step here. This is another level. This is another step in that level.
Also covered in this half of the meeting was a public hearing variation application. You can view end-to-end coverage of the Town Council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. Remember, this week's council meeting is divided into 2 parts, so make sure you check out both of them. If you miss one, they are also available on the NACTV YouTube channel. We welcome your feedback on this program, and if you have any questions that you'd like clarified or discussed regarding the Town Council, you can reach us 204-476-2639 or by email nactvnews@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.